This right here is hands down the biggest problem new agency owners face is debating, first of all, well, whether do I need a niche or not, what is considered a profitable niche, and if you're a Muslim in the agency space, doesn't matter if you're more on the SMM side or the web design and marketing side, well, how do I make sure I choose a niche which is profitable and also won't run me into any problems down the road in terms of having to do some haram elements into the business. And in this video, I'm going to cover all of that and so much more and share a tool with you I built for Muslim agency owners to make sure you find a niche which you like, makes money, and will help you scale as well to inshallah 6 figures. If this is your first time on this channel, assalamu alaikum, my name is Zahib and I am an Imam turned Halal agency owner. And after seeing the success that I did in my very own agency and scaling it to $500,000 in just a few years, I am now sharing my secrets for the rest of you guys. So let's get straight into this. The very first question you want to ask yourself, and it's very important you do this, is, well, why is it so important for me to choose a niche? And I don't want this video to be something about niche versus no niche. I want you to look at this in a way that how do you deal with being a generalist, right? Generalist meaning you work with anyone, everyone under the sun, versus being a specialist, right? Generalist versus specialization. That is our topic for today. Okay, so for you to give you a more visual look of how that looks like, and the way I envision it is this is who you're competing against when it comes to other agency owners when you don't have a niche. Okay, if you don't have a niche, this is you, this is someone else, this is also someone else, this is also someone else, this is also someone else. There's tons of people who don't have a niche. There's tons of options that your leads have that they can go to any one of these. They can shop around for prices. They can take a look at testimonials. They can take a look at their portfolio and eventually come up with a decision, which most of the time, unfortunately, won't be you. Now, what happens when you do niche down? Well, obviously your circle gets smaller. There's less people you're competing with, obviously. So this could be you, this could be someone else, and maybe this is a third person that you have which is targeting the exact same niche as you, and maybe in your specific area that you are targeting. Then we have something what I like to call the money niche, which is this right here. My goal is to help you find a niche which not only is maybe too of a specialization where you're trying to filter out a lot of businesses away from you, but also is one which does niche down just enough where they have the money to offer for your services and they're fairly easy to close. They're all around you as well. So let's talk about the problems you're going to face by being a generalist. The very first one, which we've already discussed, is you are competing with everyone and anyone under the sun. Everyone is running an agency nowadays. Your leads have never had so many options to choose from. You are not the only one they're reaching out to. You're not going to be the last one they reach out to. So when you are competing with everyone, your prices, they get smaller as well. You lose the value that you actually hold for your services in your prospect's eyes. Next, you have lower perceived value. A niche is a specific segment of a market that you target with your services. So you don't really have a focus. When you do your outreach, whatever method you choose, cold DMs, cold email, cold calling, well, who are you going to target? Are you really going to go up on Google Maps and find anyone and everyone and try to reach out to each one of them? It doesn't make sense. You're going to burn out. You're going to have very, very little success. And eventually, let's be honest, you're going to give up. The third problem we see is clients are going to ask you, well, why should I hire you? What are you going to tell them? You can talk about your pricing. You can talk about your portfolio. You can talk about your testimonials. You can talk about your years of experience, but that doesn't directly help their growth. In comparison to if you had a niche and you were doing some sort of specialization, well, it's easier to market. You know exactly who you're speaking to. If I'm speaking to doctors or, clinics, whatever they are, I know their goal is to get more patients. I know their goal is to grow their clinic, right? Easier to market in terms of who you're speaking to and what terminology you want to speak to as well. That's also very important. Next thing we see is, well, you have premium pricing. You're already the expert. You're not just another designer. You're just not just a social media marketer. You are an expert. Because you're an expert, you have an edge. While yes, your prospects may go to someone who is a generalist and be charging half as much as you, but because you are a specialist in their specific niche in their industry, well, they gotta pay a premium to work with you. And last but not least, referrals and word of mouth. Now, this one is a slept upon tactic that I choose when I came up with my very own niche for my own agency, okay? Is the fact that, look, think about it. When you work with a business owner, say, I don't know, he's a lawyer. Have you ever thought about who lawyers are friends with? or who they're associating with or who they're having conversations with outside of work or maybe while they're working, it's other lawyers. So your pool of referrals, then word of mouth automatically increases without you having to do anything. And of course, this is as long as you're providing good work and good services and your clients actually like you, then the endless referrals that come your way will go on without you having to do anything other than provide good work. So power of specialization, guys, inshallah, will always be worthwhile for you when it comes to choosing a niche. So what actually makes a profitable niche? That's a very second question, obviously, we need to ask ourselves. How can I figure out that, all right, this niche that I'm thinking about or I am working with right now, it fits this criteria? Well, very simple. This is a system that I built, and alhamdulillah, it's helped over 600 agency owners come up with their niche and be profitable as well. It's called the 3P framework. And this is the only framework you need to make sure that your niche has the ability to grow with and scale and actually make good money. It is pain, profit, and potential. Just 3 questions you need to ask. If your niche passes these 3 things, you're good to go. You have absolutely nothing to worry about, right? And what are these 3 things? Let's explain them further. Number 1 is you got pain. Does your niche have an urgent and expensive problem that without your solution, without your services, they will suffer? They will not be able to grow. They won't be able to reach their marketing goals, which is appointments, bookings, customers, growing revenue, whatever the case is, if they don't have your solution. If this niche happens to be something where they don't care if they have, a nice website, they have SEO, they have Google Ads and whatnot, then it doesn't matter. They don't have that pain anymore. It doesn't make sense for you to target them. Number 2 is you have profit. Do they have the budget to pay for premium services? If you're telling me that this business rakes in maybe $5,000 in revenue on a monthly basis, and you're expecting them to pay you $2,000 a month, it's not going to work out. You need to find that type of niche, that type of industry or business that actually has the budget to pay for your services, because let's be honest, we're not trying to undersell ourselves. We know the value of our services. Our leads should know that as well. And last but not least is potential. And this is a tricky one. Is this niche growing or stable? Is it in demand? And is it not shrinking? Nowadays, with the world of AI, the reality is a lot of businesses are going out of business. A lot of industries are shrinking, whether that means the number of them out there is shrinking or they're not able to charge as much as they do for their services. So with that being said, be very careful. You don't want to work with a niche which 5 years from now won't even exist anymore. You don't want to work with a niche which is actually going downhill and AI or whatever the case is continues to take more revenue and more customers away from them. So the 3P framework, ask yourself, if you're already an agency owner right now, does my niche pass these? If so, you're good to go. If not, and you see that maybe they have pain and profit, but they don't have potential. Maybe they have pain and potential, but they don't have profit. It's something which you have to consider. Maybe that means either focusing and doubling down on your niche and having an angle which negates this other problem that you're losing out on one of the P's, or you can go ahead and choose a new niche altogether. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Okay. Let's take a practical example between a plumber and a lawyer. Now, no disrespect to either one of these industries. If you are working for them, if you're working with them, or you are a plumber or a lawyer, good for you, alhamdulillah. But as a marketing agency, we need to understand, how would it be different in me reaching out to a plumber versus a lawyer? And we're gonna put in the 3 P's in here as well. Okay, let's talk about the plumber. Do they have a pain? I would say so. I've worked with plumbers before. They do have a pain in the sense, yeah, they're good at doing their job. They're excellent plumbers. They're well known. They got tons of reviews, but they don't have a good website or a website at all. Or they're not knowledgeable in marketing. They don't know how SEO is. They don't know the importance of those things. So the pain, no problem at all. Now, profit. Now, this is a tricky one because depending on where you are a plumber, depending on if you specialize in a specific type of plumbing, residential or commercial, which area you're in, how much you can charge, this answer may vary. Then we have potential. Is this niche growing or stable? Is the demand not shrinking? No problem in that. As long as we have sinks and pipes, we'll continue to need plumbers. So in terms of our score of the 3P framework, I would give this a 2.5 out of 3. Right? Just because the profit is very, very dependent on if they specialize or not and who they serve and where they serve them. Versus, I don't know, let's take a look at a lawyer. I would 100% say they pass all these 3P frameworks. There are tons of agencies targeting lawyers, and there's a reason why they target them and make them their niche. Is pain is there. They are lawyers. They're good at doing what they do, protecting their clients, and beating their cases. Whatever the case is, they're good at that. So, but they don't know how to market. Again, similar to the plumber. Now, profit. We know very well they make good money. We know that each case, depending on where they are, can charge $5,000 plus. So no problem in having the budget there. And potential, is this niche growing or stable? Yeah, it's going to continue to grow. As long as, we're humans, as long as we're going to be making mistakes and the law is out there, lawyers will prosper and they'll continue to make money. So if hypothetically you were choosing between a plumber and a lawyer, you know your answer. Go for the one which has the most highest score between these 3Ps, and you're not going to have a problem, inshallah. So how do you find your niche? A big question for those who are new in the agency world or just figuring it out that, oh, by the way, I got a niche down, something I better look into. Well, very, very simple. I want you to ask yourself these questions. Do you have any knowledge or interest for a specific type of industry? The reason why this is so important is, keep in mind, you're going to be learning about them. You're going to be speaking to these types of business owners. And if you feel that this is boring, this is dry, this is something which you just can't force yourself to have interest in, you're going to lose out on the momentum you built up in your agency, and you're eventually going to give up. Okay, so first thing you want to do is ask yourself, well, what industries do I understand or have knowledge of? Some of you may have already studied in a specific type of niche. Some of you may be working a full-time job, or you worked full-time job previously in a specific sector which you know the ins and outs of, you know the lingo, you know the terminologies. If so, not a bad idea to make that your specific niche. Next thing, well, where do I have connections? Some of us, we just happen to be in a family of doctors. We just happen to be in a family of restaurant owners, or we know a lot of people in that circle. If so, we have a direct in with them. We don't have to start from zero. We can build up referrals right off the bat, build up our testimonials, right? And make a little money in the side while we make our stable foundations. We've got a nice pool of people to work with. And last but not least, what industry am I interested in learning about? If you happen to have none of the first two, you need to ask yourself, well, is there any industry I wouldn't mind learning about? Because like I said, this is going to be your bread and butter. Speaking to your niche. This is how you're going to stand out in sales calls. When you are speaking to them and your leads, when they hear you talking about the problems they're facing, they think, this guy gets it. He knows exactly what I'm dealing with, and it looks like I can trust him with my money. That's what we want to go ahead with. This is how you find your niche. Now, if you're having troubles even doing this much, well, alhamdulillah, I got a solution for you there as well. If you're not sure what niche to use, you are going to use my custom built niche GPT. Now, typically I only reserve this for our exclusive community of agency owners who I help them work one-on-one and scale to 6 figures, but I'm going to share this with you for absolutely free. So keep on watching and I'll show you how you can get access to that. This right here is the perfect niche GPT. I built this exclusively for Muslim agency owners who don't know where to start when it comes to choosing their niche. This is the one tool I share with any one of our exclusive members in our private community. And I'm going to show you how this works. So right off the bat, you've already got a pre-made prompt over here. Well, is help me find a profitable niche for my web design and marketing agency. Now, keep in mind, this niche GPT already has the 3P framework embedded in it. It knows how our system works. So everything you've learned so far up until this video, this GPT is applying that for you. So it's going to ask you, well, you know what? Before we get into that, tell me, where do you want to actually operate your agency in? Because keep in mind, certain cities across North America, certain industries, they work better, right? Or they're more prominent, or there's more of a need to them. It only makes sense that you consider them when it comes to trying to find a niche. So hypothetically, let's go ahead and let's say, you know what, we are running our agency in Dallas, Texas, all right? It's gonna do its thing. It may take some time, keep in mind, but it's worthwhile for you to let it do its thing, okay? So like you said, it's gonna go ahead with the 3P framework. It's going to give you right off the bat 10 niche options. And it's actually going to score them at a score of 5 for pain, profit, and potential. So you don't have to go with the number 1 option or the number 2 option. If you feel that it has a decent score between the pain, profit, potentials of 5s and 4s, doesn't mean that it's a bad niche. If you feel like this is one that you may want to work with, it's a good idea to go with that. So let's take a look at what example, what we got through our Dallas, Texas here. So we got 10 options. First one being roofing and storm restoration, HVAC, plumbing, foundation, personal injury, dental clinics, and so on and so forth. Okay. And it'll actually give you a reason why in Dallas it's better to go ahead with these niches. Number one, for roofing and storm restoration, because frequent hailstorms create urgent demand. Okay. It also gives you a foot in the door offer, meaning if you don't have anything to work with, what is a solution you could present as a foot in the door where your leads will say, hey, you know what? This is perfect. I want to start working with this. A storm damage landing page plus Google Maps optimization. Honestly, this niche GPT can't get any more easier for you to come up with a niche and get going. Okay. Now, say you want to go ahead with HVAC contractors. Okay. They has a 5, 4, and 5, which again is not bad, but maybe you feel like, hey, you know what? HVAC is a little bit more general, right? It's not too niche, such as roofing and storm restoration. Maybe I have a better chance of learning about this niche and closing them. You can go ahead and tell the niche specifically that, what issues can I face with HVAC contractors, right? In Dallas specifically, because you need to know what to expect, and this GPT will give you all of that information, okay? So it'll tell you all the issues you can potentially face. Number one is heavy competition marketing, which we understand, okay? Dallas has hundreds of HVAC companies and many are already spending heavily on marketing. What that means is when you reach out to them, they'll say, oh, you know what, we already have an agency, or we're already spending so much money and we are seeing the success. Another option or problem you may have is owners are extremely sales focused. Most HVAC owners care about the one thing, calls and book jobs. What that means is they don't care if your website is fancy. They don't care if the branding is amazing. They don't care if the aesthetics are nice. What that tells you as the agency owner is don't talk about those things. Don't talk about how beautiful the website will look, how many animations it will have, how many pages it will have. Speak specifically to what they're looking for is this website will get you more bookings. This website will get you more jobs. Simple as that. Go back and forth with this niche, and I guarantee you that by the end of it, you're going to be so confident in the niche you choose, inshallah. You're going to be motivated to work towards it. Doesn't matter how many cold calls, cold DMs, cold emails you may want to make, it's going to be worthwhile for you, inshallah. Now, if you want access to this niche GPT that I built for Muslim agency owners, I'm running a 2-day free webinar this Ramadan in 2026. Titled the Rich Ramadan webinar. It's going to happen on March 14 and March 15. Click the link below to sign up. And as soon as you sign up, you will get the link specifically to this niche and you can start using it right away. Alongside with that, the Rich Ramadan webinar will have tons of value on how new business owners or people looking to have a side hustle along with their full-time job, it will give out everything. So make sure you sign up for that and I'll see you over there. Last but not least, I don't want you to just work in your niche and be okay. I want you to dominate your niche. So how do you dominate your niche? Take a look at these 3 steps I built out for you guys. Okay, number 1 is I want you to make your website and your marketing, whatever you do, social media marketing, SEO, whatever it is, it should speak exclusively to the niche. Keep in mind, don't talk about jobs and bookings if that's not what your niche cares about. If your niche has a problem being problem aware, then talk about those problems. If they are already problem aware and they want to be more solution aware, use that terminology. Use specific lingo which works only for them. In the case that when that specific niche, a business owner in that industry is looking at your website, they say, wow, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. He's not talking about appointments when I don't care about appointments, right? So this goes a long way. Your website, your marketing, your copy, everything you put out from your agency side only speaks to them, okay? Next you got is build systems that work specifically for your niche. If your niche doesn't care about ranking high on Google Maps, for example, don't offer them Google Maps, right? If your niche, Google Ads, is really big for them, then make sure you make that the very first system that you offer to them and make these services in a way where they tie into each other. This way, not only can you charge more, but your prospects, your leads, your customers, they get more out of your services as well. Systems go a long way in your niche. And last but not least, craft your portfolio and your testimonials with niche work. Now, it doesn't mean you can't work anyone outside of your niche. If your cousin, your friend, he reaches out to you, hey man, I need a website, right? I'm a restaurant, and you happen to work with HVAC contractors. Doesn't mean you're gonna say, brother, I'm sorry, I can't help you out. You're gonna take them on. You're still gonna work on them, but maybe do the work, but don't put them on your website because that doesn't work with your niche. If I'm an HVAC contractor, I come onto your website and I see your portfolio has a bunch of reviews from restaurant owners and websites you build for restaurant, it's gonna turn me off, right? Stay away from that. Work on those clients, of course, take them on, but keep them outside of your portfolio. Your portfolio, your testimonial should exclusively be built for your niche and speaks to them, and they want to see your work. If I'm looking for a website for my HVAC company and I see you build website for another HVAC company, why wouldn't I want to work with you? You have the proof of concept. So there you have it. Step-by-step process to make sure you find a niche which you can work with, which has the money, and you're not going to have any problems down the road in terms of scaling. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe, look out for more videos, and also scroll down and join my free school community where I help Muslims with full-time job set up their very own halal marketing agency with just a laptop. And I'll see you in the next video.